Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Welcome to my mental health channel where I wipe away the stigma of mental illness by talking about my own experiences having borderline personality disorder, my experiences having post-traumatic stress disorder, severe anxiety disorder, panic attacks, depression, my narcissistic mother who abused me and beat me, my schizophrenic father who was in and out of mental hospitals my whole life. I talk about my unethical psychologist that sexually abused me, all the different types of therapies I've been in, and a plethora of other mental health related topics. But I only come on as a former patient of almost 20 years. I am not a licensed therapist. I do not hold a degree in psychology, so I cannot diagnose you or give you a professional opinion. And all I ask of you is please be kind and respectful in the comments to me and to everybody else. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button because it's 100% free and you will be updated as soon as a new video comes out. And if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. Now, I've been very open and honest and forthcoming, transparent, and on these videos and telling you all about, about things that I am not proud of, things I feel very ashamed. But I want my channel to be as open and transparent. I want to be open and transparent with you, my subscribers. And I want others to know they're not alone, even though they might not come out and say it. There's other people out there like them. This video is about me stealing. Now, I grew up Catholic, and Catholics, and I went to, Catholic schools where there was all nuns, and they drilled religion in your head. We had religion classes that were mandatory to take, and I shall not steal is one of the top 10. Top 10 are commandments. And along with I shall not commit adultery. That's another one I broke. I might have broken all of them except thou shalt not kill. I think that's the only one I didn't break. But I don't know. Anyway, this video is about stealing. Before, because I was so drilled, the Catholic religion and all the nuns made you feel guilty. You had to go to confession every week and tell the priests all your sins and what you did wrong. And they would, bless you, and you'd have to say this many prayers and everything, so you would be forgiven. Every time that I committed adultery, I'd run to the priest, tell him, then go back out and cheat on my husband again. Because I said, well, he forgave me for that. I'll just cheat, and go to the priest, be forgiven, and then I'm clean until I cheat again. And then, you know what I mean? I was like making crazy deals, in my head that, really nuts. But anyway, I did steal. I'm not proud of stealing, and first it started out as, something that I thought was a necessity and small things, and then it turned out to be a compulsive, obsessive thing that I did. I do not steal anymore. I have not stole in years, so I just want to set that straight. I'm not condoning stealing. But I'm going to get into kind of like graphic details about my stealing. My husband been out of work many years in the 37 years we've been married. He'd get either he would be laid off or fired or let go, whatever you want to call it. Different jobs, they called it different things, okay? And he'd go years without working, years before he could find another job. Or else he would take a job that was like minimum wage just because it's been years since he had a job. He had to take something, because we couldn't afford to pay the bills. Bill collectors were at us. We had shut-off notices. They're going to shut off electricity, water. I mean, it was really bad. I took on odd jobs too. That's how I got into doing pornography, because I told you before on my other video, I was paid $150 every week. And that was pretty steady pay for a couple of years. And we were dirt poor. I mean, we couldn't afford food. And So my son Alex was coming up, my severely handicapped son who got traumatic brain injury at 4 from meningitis, which I went into in all the other videos, so I'm not going to bore you with those details there. If you're new, you'll have to catch up on my other videos. He comes home every week on Sunday for dinner, and we go visit him at his place, his residence on Saturday. So I had no food, and we had for him. The refrigerator was empty. There was no heat in the house. So, I don't know if what month this was. I don't think it was freezing in the house at this point. It might have not been winter or something. I don't know. I used to put the oven on for heat in the kitchen sometimes. So, what are we going to do? We can't afford to feed ourselves, let alone, our other son. So I went to the supermarket and I stole food. How did I steal food? Well, I had a jacket on and a pocketbook. My pocketbook wasn't very big. It was, so it didn't look like a huge bag that would be obvious. Why is that woman carrying a huge bag? It was a medium-sized bag. I had a jacket on. I remember putting a whole chicken under my jacket and zippering it up. Now, if you looked at me, you might think I was a little chubby or pregnant. It was years and years ago. Someone whose stomach is a little out could be either overweight or pregnant. So I did this very sneakily. What I would do is, I get one of those little baskets, and I'd put some items in the little basket and carry it around with me up and down the aisles until I saw an aisle that was kind of empty. Then I would stoop down to pretend to look at, get something on the lower shelf. And then I would just, I'd stoop down pretending I'm grabbing an item on the lower shelf and then just shove it in and then I'd walk out the door. And I got away with it. I was very sneaky. I was very cautious if anyone was looking. I know they have security cameras, so I pretended, I stooped down on the lower shelf to pretend like I'm grabbing an item off the shelf. And, I angled myself, so even if there was cameras, you really couldn't see, what I was doing, And I would steal food like that. Then from stealing food, I started stealing clothes. And it was the same thing. As long as the what are those? There's little devices on clothes. You have to look for them. You have to take the shirt or pants and put it inside out and look. Sometimes it's a magnetic thing in it. I never cut them, okay? And I didn't know how to take the devices off. They said if you touch this or try to take it off, and ink will get all over you or something. I never took any devices off. I'm not a professional thief, okay? When I was a security guard, I went after professional thieves, believe it or not, but that's another story for another time. Isn't it funny? I stole and I was a security guard. Really weird. But I didn't steal in the place I worked. So I just didn't steal any clothing or shoes that had that magnetic or, that device. Sometimes it's a big, thick device, which is obvious. They want you to see it because it's obvious, what it is. If you walk out of the store with this item, bing, 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 because it has a device on it. Or sometimes inside, very discreetly, you'll have to look. There's a strip, a magnetic strip that's attached to the blouse or something, and it's not obvious. You really have to, examine what you're taking because it could have that magnetic strip. That's it looks like it's attached to the shirt. It's not a big, thick device, and then you walk off, bing, bing. Well, so after, looking through clothes that inside and out, making sure they have no devices, then I would take them and put them inside my jacket and walk out of the store. Shoes. How did I steal shoes? Not all shoes had the devices on them, okay? A lot of shoes didn't, especially shoes that were returned or shoes that were for sale. They had, tons and tons of sale racks, and they were still, expensive shoes. Even on sale, they were still $30, $40, $50 shoes, even on sale. I stole Uggs. How did I steal Uggs? The Uggs were on sale maybe from 200 to, I don't know, 100 or something. I don't know. So this is how I did. As long as they didn't have that device on them, okay? You have to make sure. I'm not trying to teach you how to steal, but I walked in with flip-flops or something, right? Some stupid cheap shoes, $1 flip-flops from the dollar store or something. I don't know. I'd kick them off and hide them underneath the racks or something. I hide them. I'd slip my flip-flops under the racks or underneath something where no one could see. And then I'd put the shoes on that I was going to steal and walk out of the store. How would anyone know I stole anything? Because the boots were very big. They're very big boots, right? And my bag was not that big. Like I said, I didn't carry one of these large bags that would make me look suspicious. Like, that woman has a very large bag, Keep an eye on her. My handbag was normal. It wasn't tiny, but it wasn't huge. You wouldn't even think twice looking at me about my handbag. Nothing would register. You would think it's normal. But I would walk out wearing the stolen merchandise and leave my flip-flops behind. And of course I couldn't put huge boots in my pocketbook, and I was wearing them. No one thought nothing, no one would guess. No one would think anything different, And that's how I got away doing that. And then, I started doing more and more. And then I started getting kind of cocky and arrogant. Like, oh, well, I can take anything I want. Now, I don't know. I'm not proud of telling you guys this. It started out as out of necessity, really. We had no money for no food. We couldn't even have toilet paper to wipe our ass after a shit. I'm not kidding you. I stole toilet paper. So in the beginning, I took necessity things. And then it just escalated from there. Well, if I can take this, I can take that. It's just like cheating. You might flirt first with someone and think that's nothing. It's just flirting. Then you might end up kissing someone and go, that's not cheating. It's not sex. And then you know how it gets. You get more, confidence. In the beginning, you feel very guilty. You're very nervous, but then the more and more you do something, the more and more confident and cocky and self-assured you get, like, I can take anything. Once I took a diamond bracelet, because I know what to do, I know how to do it, and I'm not proud of saying this, but at the time I was drinking very heavy alcohol. This was around the time I was being sexually abused, raped by my psychologist. I'm not trying to make excuses here because I'm owning this. I'm telling you it was wrong. I'm not proud of this. I'm owning it. So again, I have my pocketbook. I took a bottle, put it in, and then the guy saw me, the owner of the liquor store, and he said, "Don't do that." He looked right at me. So I took it out and I put it on the counter. Or maybe I took it and I paid for it. I think I might have paid for it. I might have had some money on me, or I bought something else much cheaper. I don't remember. But I remember he caught me red-handed and he said, "Don't do that." And so I was caught once. I mean, he could have called the police on me, but he gave me a chance to redeem myself by put it back, which I did. And that frightened the shit out of me, I have to tell you that. But see, it's like whatever you get into, whether it be drugs, alcohol, being promiscuous, sex, or stealing, or infidelity, you gotta, these things escalate. And thank God I never, no one ever called the police on me. I never, except for, I was caught that one time, but the guy let me put it back. He didn't call the police. He didn't say, okay, she's got it in her bag. Maybe because it would just be too much effort by then. I would have already walked out of the store. I don't know, and he would have lost money on the bottle of alcohol. Maybe because it was just much easier. I mean, I could have said, I wasn't going to be stupid. I wasn't going to say, I don't have anything, you know. Then he would have called the police. Yes, you did. You took that bottle. No, I don't. You know, I wasn't going to be stupid, all right? I was caught and I was going to come clean. You know, he saw it. He said, put it back. And I took it and put it back. Oh, yeah, there was another time I took a candy bar in the 7-Eleven. I took it while my husband was in there paying for some groceries. And, you know, while he was at the register, he wasn't in on this. He didn't know I was going to take it. It was just a stupid candy bar. And he was paying for the groceries, and the guy saw me, and he said, you're going to pay for that, aren't you? Pointing to me with the candy bar. And my husband looked at me, and I took the candy bar out of my pocketbook, and gave it to him, you know. So that was 2 times I was caught. But like I said, these things have a tendency to escalate. And the more you do them, the more risk you take and get away with it, the more self-confidence, and this is not a good word to use, the more confident you get in thinking, I can get away with it. You know, oh, I got away with it before, you know, and then the more you do it, like cheating, the more you feel less guilty. You know, the first time is the hardest. You feel very guilty. Like I said, when I was cheating, I'm running to the priest as an adult and confessing, you know, thinking that I'm going to be absolved of my sins because I confessed and I did what the priest told me to do. I prayed and did 10 Hail Marys and 20 Our Fathers or whatever it was he told me to do. I did it. And I'm good to go until I do it again, and then, you know, repeat the pattern. And then after that, I just didn't give a shit anymore. Why do I have to go to some man and tell him my sins? Screw that, you know. And that's how it, you know, it totally blew out of proportion. And I knew I had a problem. Of course, therapy didn't help me. I talked about this with my therapist, and he said nothing. You know, this is the one who encouraged me to have sex with my other psychologist, Dr. Richard Geist. He didn't try to, you know, discourage me from stealing, you know. In fact, like one time he was admiring the beautiful shoes I had on. He goes, oh, those are nice, gorgeous shoes. Where'd you get those? And I said, oh, I stole them. Do you know what my psychologist said, Dr. Richard Geist, in response to that? He said, oh, I shouldn't have asked. That's what he said! This is a Harvard-trained psychologist. You know, I'm going to therapy. I'm stealing. I'm cheating on my husband. I am doing pornography. He lets me do pornography in his backyard. He goes, be careful my wife doesn't see. She might call the police on you. This is what you know, that's why I never got better, okay? I'm just telling you. But anyway, so I wasn't proud. I was trying to do better in my life. So, you know, I cut back the drinking. I stopped stealing. I stopped doing pornography. I stopped cheating. And I haven't, you know, cheated on my husband in many years. God, maybe like, maybe 8, 9 years. I haven't stolen years. I haven't done pornography in maybe 4 years. So I am trying my best, you know, to live a better life on my own without any help. I'm not going to therapy, you know. I don't have any friends. You know, no one is helping me. I'm helping me. That's the only person that's helping me is me, myself, and I. So I just want to come on and tell you that, you know, no matter where you are in life, no matter how low you go or what you do, you can, you know, stop doing it and, you know, kind of like resurrect yourself. You don't need a priest or, you know, some other man, you know, with a collar to absolve you, you know. You can do it yourself if you're really intent on improving your life and living a better, more honest life, you know. You can do that yourself. You can look in the mirror and say, hey, I don't like what I'm doing. I need to change, you know. And the only one who can change you is you. Nobody else can change you except you. You got to want to change. That's the only person who can change you, all right? You got to be disgusted with enough, like I was, disgusted enough with myself, you know, feeling like a slut, doing pornography, stealing, committing adultery, cheating on my husband, just like, you know, really saying, you know, I hate what I become. I don't like me anymore. And say, you know what? I'm not going to do those things. You know, I want to look in the mirror and I want to like myself, you know. And so I changed and I stopped doing those things. And if I could stop doing those things, you can, you know, you can change yourself too. You can change the things that you don't like in your life. Yes, you can. Because if I did it, you can do it. So, and it's never too late to start. Never too late to start. Just remember that. Okay, till next